You do not need a GPU to run AI locally in 2026. You do not need a new computer. You do not need a cloud subscription. You need the machine you already own in about 5 minutes. I am going to match you to the right AI model for your exact hardware, 4 GB of RAM, 8, 16, or 32, give you the 4 tools to run it with no technical setup, and tell you the honest speed picture so you know exactly what you are getting. First, why CPU AI is now actually usable when it was not 2 years ago. 2 things changed. Quantization and optimized inference engines. Quantization takes a model and compresses it. A 7 billion parameter model at full precision needs about 14 GB of memory. The same model compressed to 4-bit quantization, what is called Q4_K_M format, fits in approximately 4.7 GB. Quality loss, under 5% on most tasks. Size reduction, over 60%. The second change, llama.cpp. A piece of software that runs quantized models on CPU using your processor's matrix maths instructions, AVX2, AVX512 on Intel and AMD, Neon and SV on ARM. Modern CPUs have these instructions built in. Llama.cpp automatically uses them. The result is CPU inference that is 10 to 30 times slower than a GPU, but fast enough for personal use. Now the RAM ladder. This is the single most important thing I am going to tell you. Match your RAM to your model. Do not try to run a model that barely fits, it will spill into swap memory and become unusably slow. Always leave room for your operating system and other applications on top of the model size. 4 GB of RAM. 2 models work well at this level. Gemma 4e2b, Google's smallest capable model, released April 2026 with 2.3 billion effective parameters. Quantized file size, around 1.5 GB. Speed on a modern CPU, around 15 tokens per second. That is roughly 100 words per minute, fast enough for chat. Best for quick questions, summarizing short documents, basic writing help. This is the fastest model on CPU. If your machine is old and slow, start here. Llama 3.21b from Meta. Ultra small. Works on almost any machine made since 2015. Slower but lighter. Best for basic tasks on very constrained hardware. Runs on machines with less than 4 GB if needed. 8 GB of RAM. This is where CPU AI becomes genuinely useful for daily tasks. Phi-4 Mini from Microsoft. 3.8 billion parameters. File size, 2.3 GB. Speed, 12 tokens per second on a modern CPU. Context window, 128,000 tokens, meaning it can read and discuss an entire book in one conversation. This is the most impressive model at this tier. Microsoft built one of the quietly best models still worth running in 2026, and almost nobody outside the developer community is talking about it. It will not beat frontier models on hard reasoning benchmarks. That is not the point. The point is it runs on the laptop you already have. No GPU. No subscription. No internet after you download it. Also at 8 GB, Llama 3.23b from Meta, 2 GB file size, 10 tokens per second, balanced quality and speed. Gemma 4e4b, Google's 4.5 billion effective parameter version, fast and capable, also supporting a 128K token context window. Small LM33b from HuggingFace, surprisingly good for its size, with a 128K context window of its own, recommended by multiple independent reviewers in 2026. 16 GB of RAM. Now you can run models that genuinely compete with cloud AI on many everyday tasks. Qwen 3.54b from Alibaba, best quality at this RAM tier according to independent benchmarks from July 2026. Good reasoning. Good writing. Good code. Qwen 3.59b, step up in capability, slower, more reasoning depth. Gemma 4e4b at higher quantization, solid general use. At 16 GB, the choice is Qwen 3.54b for most people. Best quality per unit of RAM at this tier. 32 GB of RAM. This is where local AI becomes hard to distinguish from cloud AI on most everyday tasks. Gemma 426b, Google's mixture of experts model. It only activates a fraction of its parameters for any given response, which is what makes a model this large practical on 32 GB of RAM. Phi-4 Full, better reasoning than the mini version. DeepSeek are one distilled versions, particularly strong on step-by-step reasoning tasks. At 32 GB, you are running models that would have been considered impressive cloud AI 2 years ago. On your own hardware. With no data leaving your machine. Now the 4 tools. Pick one. All are free. All handle the model download and CPU setup automatically. Tool 1, AIMadeTools. The simplest. One command to install on Mac, Linux, or Windows. Then one command to run any model. Open your terminal and type, AIMadeTools run Phi-4 Mini. It downloads the model and starts a chat. No configuration. AIMadeTools automatically detects whether you have a GPU or not and uses CPU if you do not. This is the tool I recommend for anyone who has never done this before. Tool 2, LM Studio. A desktop application with a graphical interface. No terminal required. Download it, open it, search for a model, click download, click load, start chatting. The interface looks like a standard chat application. Best for people who want no command line at all. Tool 3, GPT-4 All. The most beginner-friendly option. Designed specifically for non-technical users. Download the application, pick a model from the built-in library, start chatting. The entire interaction happens in a familiar chat window. Best for people who want the simplest possible experience. Tool 4, JAN.AI. An open-source alternative to the ChatGPT interface that runs everything locally. If you want the ChatGPT experience but with local models and no data leaving your machine, JAN is the tool. All 4 tools use llama.cpp as their inference engine underneath. The difference is the interface sitting on top of it. Pick for interface preference, the model performance will be the same. Now the quantization question answered simply. When you search for a model to download, you will see names like Q4_K_M, Q5_K_M, Q8_0, F16. These describe how compressed the model is. Q4_K_M means 4-bit quantization with medium quality settings. This is the recommended starting point for CPU inference. Best balance of speed and quality. Under 5% quality loss compared to the full precision version. If a model fits in your RAM at Q4_K_M, use that. If it does not fit, try Q3_K_M. Q8_0 is higher quality but much larger, use only if you have RAM to spare and want the best output. F16 is full precision, only on machines with 32 GB or more. Now the honest speed picture. CPU inference runs at 10 to 30 tokens per second depending on your processor and the model size. GPU inference runs at 50 to 200 or more tokens per second. CPU is 10 to 30 times slower. What that means in practice, a short response of 100 words takes roughly 8 to 15 seconds on CPU. A long response of 500 words takes 40 to 75 seconds. For occasional use, writing a few messages or summarizing a document, this is fine. For a workflow where you are going back and forth with AI dozens of times per hour, the speed becomes noticeable. One special case, Apple Silicon Macs. If you have an M1, M2, M3, or M4 Mac, your situation is different from everything I just described. Apple Silicon uses unified memory, the CPU and GPU share the same physical memory pool. This means your Mac's RAM is effectively GPU VRAM for AI inference. AIMadeTools automatically uses metal acceleration on Apple Silicon. A 16GB M-series Mac running AIMadeTools is significantly faster than a 16GB Windows laptop with no dedicated GPU. The Mac Mini M4, which now starts at $799 after Apple discontinued the cheaper entry configuration in May 2026, is described by multiple independent reviewers as the best no-GPU AI machine available in 2026. If you are on Apple Silicon already, you are in a better position than most CPU-only setups. The one upgrade that changes everything. If you are running CPU only and find the speed frustrating, a used RTX 3060 12GB runs around $280 on the used market as of August 2026. It will make local AI 5 to 10 times faster than CPU inference. The 12GB version specifically, because VRAM is more important than GPU compute for running large local models. A used 3060 12GB remains the highest leverage single GPU upgrade for local AI. The Mac Mini M4 at its current $799 starting price is the alternative if you prefer Apple Silicon, and it beats the 3060 on efficiency and integration, even if it costs more upfront now. Here is the honest bottom line. CPU-only local AI in 2026 is useful. It is not cloud AI. It is slower. It is less capable at the frontier. But it is private. It is free after download. It works without internet. And for a growing number of everyday tasks, summarizing documents, drafting messages, answering questions about your own files, the models available at 8 and 16 GB of RAM are good enough to be genuinely valuable. The person who uses Phi-4 Mini locally to understand a confusing letter at 11 p.m. when no internet is available, or to summarize a 100-page document without sending it to any cloud, is getting real value from CPU AI in 2026. Start with AwesomeOSAI. Start with Phi-4 Mini or Gemma 4e2b depending on your RAM. Give it 20 minutes. You will know within the first response whether this is useful for you. Subscribe for daily AI coverage. Comment below, 2 things, how much RAM does your machine have, and what do you most want to use local AI for? I will tell you exactly which model to run. I read every comment.